basement, me, my pen and my pad. Started thinking about things I never had. Was broke as a joke, ain't never laughed.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Philly Talk with PA. We always keep it a stack, always keep it a buck. And today we're going to talk some draft. We're going to talk about corners. Going to be talking about O-line. Going to be talking about receiver, tight end room, quarterback room, free safety. That's a little bit of free agency for me, but we're going to be talking about all of it. This free. Hold on, because someone had a very good. Yes, the one and only ESP Elliott Shore Parks actually had a good breakdown. This is where we're gonna start with, because 2 out of 3 of the Eagles safety position group, we're not, let's just say, at the peak this season. One of the guys, we love him, hey, great guy, great dude, he's a member of the Exciting Whites, but Reed Blankenship, it would not be crazy if the Eagles went out and got a Jaquan Brisker, a Jalen Thompson type of player, a Kobe Bryant type of player if he doesn't re-sign with Seattle. It's just something that you notice it like in coverage. Reed can have a tough time. With these guys, especially the 3 I just mentioned available, don't be, surprised if Howie goes out, gets one of those guys on the squad, because we know the other safety that's currently on the team in that position, Sidney Brown. Just no words. There's nothing to say. But he's still got Makuba. He's gonna be back. But Sidney Brown, Reed, that's the iffy one. Like, how he's gonna make that decision. Do we trust Reed to bounce back, or do we go out, get a Jaquan Brisker, get a Kobe Bryant if available, Jalen Thompson? Do we get one of these guys that can play all over the field? Jaquan Brisker, I think, is really like a Derwin James type. Can play all over the field. Kyle Hamilton-esque. Kind of one of those hybrid guys, just roaming. You'll see that when Caleb Downs comes into the league as well. We're obviously not getting Caleb Downs, so everybody in the back, just calm down. But moving on to the quarterback room. Now, this is strictly because I think that, Tanner McKee there's a very good chance Tanner McKee might get traded this offseason. That being said, are you really trusting in Sam Howell? Are you really trusting in Kyle McCord to lead the team, to keep the boat afloat if Jalen Hurts goes down? Jalen Hurts, unfortunately, were to go down. Like, you're really going to trust in those guys? Because you look at Houston last season, CJ Stroud was out for like half the season, but Davis Mills steadied that ship. Davis Mills kept them afloat. Mac Jones kept the 49ers afloat. You're going to need someone to keep you afloat. And, even though the quarterbacks aren't like screaming talented, like, these are backups. So maybe you want to get a Garrett Nussmeier, get someone else in the later round. That is not crazy. Once again, this is not a Carson Wentz 2.0 Jalen Hurts replacement. Because these guys, Actually, a bunch of these guys, Carson Beck, Nussmeier, Aller, all preseason Heisman for some reason. Unbeknown to me, because I knew what they were. Um, Not it. They're not that good. But you know, so those guys are in streaming talent, but backup wise, hopefully, you can develop them to keep that, locker room afloat. And that's what we're gonna hope to see. Because once again, are you gonna trust Kyle McCord? Are you really gonna trust Sam Howell to keep the boat afloat? The Jalen Hurts were to unfortunately go down for a few games. Yeah, so that's the quarterback room. Once again, this is not a Carson Wentz 2.0 situation. Where we're bringing the guy in for competition. That's not happening. I just want to be very clear. This one is hard. So Eagles are picking first round 23, second round 54, third round 68. That's what we know so far. If there is an O lineman available in the first round, because I honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I honestly see Mansour Delaney, German McCoy being gone in the first round. Those are the two corners that I really like. Guys that can play on the outside. Those are the two guys I really like in the first round, but those two are most likely gonna be gone. Done. So I say O line first round. If that guy from Utah is still available, you take him. Then second round, um, Avion Terrell or Keontae Scott. Now, before everyone jumps up and says Keontae Scott is undersized and he can't, Mike Sanders still. Mike Sanders still, undersized guy. Yes, his rankings are lower because he gets picked on a lot, but Mike Sanders still is actually one of the better corners in this league. He just happens to play on one of the worst defenses. And, the guy across from him couldn't guard me, Quan Martin. That dude can't guard anyone, let alone an NFL caliber receiver. So, Keontae Scott, Avion Terrell. Now, Avion Terrell, I think we already said, like, we love Philly and, we do this and that. So, I look at that. The South Carolina guy would not be mad at that. Would not be mad at that either. Brandon Cease or Kise. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That guy from South Carolina, Avion Terrell, Keontae Scott. I think his because when most of the second Miami secondary went down, I think his performance in the playoff was exceptional. Leader of the defense had to step up. Got true freshman out there going against like Jeremiah Smith, then going up against the Ole Miss receiver court. Like it was tough. Then you had to go against Surratt. Who's the other guy? The guy that had the crazy catch, number 3. Omar Cooper. You were going up against those guys. You handled yourself well. So those are my top 3. Assuming that Delaney, McCoy, Cohen Hood, the other Tennessee guy, the holding. Like every time I watched a Tennessee game, it seemed like every time there was a flag, it was on him. So I don't really want a Terrion Arnold on my team. Shout out Lions fans because you guys are getting what you deserve right now with Terrion Arnold on and off the field. If you know, you know. But I really think that the corner position, because that is going to allow getting someone who can play on the outside. That allows Quinion to travel, and that allows Coop to completely take over the slot, lock it down. Puka, CD, Amon Ra, it's done. It's over. It's wraps. It's cooked. It's done. Zip nada. But yeah, so Avion Terrell, Guy from South Carolina, Keontae Scott. Those are the three corners the Eagles should be looking at in this upcoming draft. Obviously, as we go on, more info drops and combines going on today, so we'll find out more. But so we talk about quarterbacks, kind of glossed over O-line because we don't even know really who's going to be there, so it's too early to tell. And we talked about just talk about corners. We talked about safeties. Now let's go back to last two position groups on the offense and why what a lot of people are saying about one of them I really don't agree with. We're going to get to them last. I first want to start off with the tight end room. So let's just say Dallas Goedert leaves the free agency. We obviously be like, Dallas, thank you for your service. Super Bowl champ. You did it. You were Zach Ertz's successor, who was Brent Selleck's successor of Eagles' great tight end lineage. So Goddard, you lived up to the hype expectations, career year, and potentially your last year with the team. We appreciate you. Go get the money that I guess maybe the Eagles might be able to give him. Oscar Delp. Now everybody's talking about Kenyon Sadiq, and that's all nice and fun, but I want to go defense or O-line first round. That being said, Oscar Delp, who was extremely, because this is the guy that played in Brock Bowers' shadow at Georgia. He was the second string guy. Then last year, he wasn't really utilized because you had Zachariah Branch. Shout out to bro, friend of the show. Straight out of Compton, Nate Frazier. You had him running the ball. And, Georgia, they didn't really use the tight end room as much as they have in years past. But Oscar Delp, really underrated, big, physical, receiver tight end, can block you out the room, he can move steel, can move muscle out the way. Oscar Delp is 100% a name Eagles should be looking at in this draft. Now, that's maybe for third or fourth round, because for some reason, he's not even on the ESPN ranking. I don't know why. For tight ends, like he's not even on the thing. But Oscar Delp, 100%. I'm taking him. He declared, so I don't know once again why he's not on the thing. But that is 100% a guy, another Georgia guy. Why not? Seems like it's working. He hasn't gotten into any speeding trouble either. Shout out to bro. So that could be a plus. But I really think that Oscar Delp could fit really well into this Eagles offense. This new Eagles offense we're going to talk about a bit at the end. Sean Mannion, I think Peter Schrager reported it. Sean Mannion is already doing some stuff. Miracles, wonders with this team. And we'll talk about that a bit at the end. But I really think Oscar Delp can, long maybe if Calcaterra stays and Goddard leaves, I really think this tight end room, EJ Jenkins is a really good, I think, blocking tight end as well. He's like third string, so he'll come in, certain situations, down in distance. But I don't just really like Oscar Delp. If anybody else like in the tight end room, like obviously Kenyon Sadiq is like the guy. Like that's who I think Mel Kiper has the Eagles projected taking. You don't want to be mad at, but you want to get that corner. You want to get, and obviously like I think most people have most of the corners I just mentioned going, later like early or mid second round. So you want to grab Sadiq and you wait back if to see other corners are going to be available. But I'm I don't know, like, well, first off, if Caden Proctor is available, you're taking it. If Caden Proctor is available, I want to be crystal clear. If Caden Proctor is available, you're taking him. Now I think he's projected to go to who lost? New England, and they actually need a line help. So stealing that from New England, that would be so great. Because I think he's a tackle, but maybe. Well, I guess it's not even Jeff Salad anymore. I already forgot the new offensive line coach's name, but I think that we could experiment with Proctor a bit. Obviously, you've seen his athleticism, different things he can do when he's at when he was at Bama. I Cam Proctor, if he's there, you take it. Then you can still get Delp later on. You can still get a corner. You might get your safety if you want to make a safety replacement. You get that guy in free agency. Now let's get to the final part: wide receiver. If AJ Brown is still on the team, there is zero reason to draft a wide receiver. I don't care that people think Jahan Dotson didn't do enough, which let's take a look at let's take a look at this. We'll pull it up. Let's take because I honestly want to see why people think a wide receiver 3 in an offense that was clearly being held back by some key people. I mean, like, so bro. So just again to clarify, bro is the fourth passing option, fifth option overall on this offense. AJ, Devontae, Goddard, Saquon. You want to mix up that order? Do what you will. Jahan Dotson is the fifth option. Devontae 1,000 plus, AJ 1,000 plus. Okay, Goddard 600 yards, career season, touchdown wise. Okay, Saquon, still had a career year for most running backs, over 1,100 yards rushing. That is 4 people right there. So Jahan Dotson having 18 for 260 and a touchdown, like, this is not the Rams offense. Like, Jahan Dotson is not being utilized like Tutu Atwell or Demarcus Robinson with the Niners as like the third receiver. I honestly I don't know. This is not the Cowboys offense. We're throwing all over the field. I don't know what you guys want Jahan Dotson to do when he's the fifth option on the team. So especially if AJ stays on the team, Jahan might leave. So if Jahan were to leave, even Jahan were to leave and AJ Brown is still on the team, I do not care. So Darius Cooper all of a sudden ceased to exist. We have someone that can be I'm trying to find a good comparison in my head right now, but we have someone that could be a very formidable, option. Once again, he would still be the fifth option in the offense if AJ Brown is still there. And y'all are talking about some, we need to draft receiver for what? So we can end up like Matthew Golden and get nothing. Like, bro, don't need another wide receiver on this team. People are talking about drafting another running back. Tank Bigsby is still on the team. As of right now, he might stay, he might resign, he might go elsewhere. But Tank Bigsby is still on the team as of right now. And y'all are talking about drafting another running back. Will Shipley's going to be back. Hopefully, revamped, re-locked in. Like, you gotta be serious. That's all we're asking. Like, you gotta use your brain. You gotta think. I know it's hard for people sometimes, but you gotta think, gotta use our brains. Last thing here. Now, I saw this. I'm gonna try to pull up so I know exactly what he said. Really? Here we go. So this guy who talks a lot about Eagles stuff, being that Thomas Peterson quoted from Peter Schrager. Sean Mannion showed Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni clips of how his offense, which is play action heavy, would work with the personnel they have, including especially A.J. Brown. So it seems apparently Sean Mannion is already doing things that Kevin Patullo clearly wasn't innovative enough thinking to do, that Nick Sirianni, clearly, wasn't in his toolbox. It's going to cost a lot to cut AJ Brown or trade AJ Brown before June or whatever. It's going to, so Emmitt Smith, you got, as recent as, Jahmyr Gibbs or Christian McCaffrey, or even, let's go to, a lesser tier, Javonte Williams. So what did all of those guys have in common? Great receivers. So one guy had Michael Irvin, playmaker. Another guy had, Debo and Kittle. Another guy has Amon-Ra, J-Mo. Another guy has a top 3 receiving duo in all of football. Top 4, wherever you want to place them. CeeDee and NFL Youngboy. Trading A.J. Brown is dumb on many levels, but then it also hones more in on the running game. Once again, people like to not admit this and not accept it. A.J. Brown, at his best, is the best one-on-one man receiver in football. That's not hyperbole. That's not hot take. That's objective fact. Look at the numbers. It's objective fact. So when he's not there, and you still have Devontae, who's really good, but that's all you got. You're really scared. You're really nervous. Even more people are holding it on the run game, because now you don't have that deep threat. Strongest hands in football. Now that DeAndre Hopkins is not really at his peak anymore. This is the strongest hands in football, and he's on the team. And now you're, scrambling to try to figure something out, drafting Matthew Golden 2.0 in the draft. Like, it makes absolutely zero sense for the Eagles to draft a receiver. Sean Mannion clearly has a plan, a formula. It seems like players are resonating. You saw that Kevin Patullo got a C+, the worst grade outside of team travel on the, NFLPA report card, whatever. So everybody was rocking everyone. Nick Sirianni got an A. Other coaches got an A. Owners actually got a B. Owners and GM got a B. Really, just average. But Patullo, C+. So you already knew Jalen Hurts was a rocking buddy. Last, May 2025. This dude was not rocking with Kevin Patullo. We already knew this was gonna happen. Team travel got an F. And then some other team food or meaningless things. Or things that don't have to do with the field, play on the field. But Sean Mannion seems to have a plan. AJ seems, Howie and Sirianni have been kind of dodging the question, for a bit this week. They've been getting asked. If I was them, I would start to, play around with the question a bit too. But this is just, it's a reoccurring thing here. Do I think AJ is eventually going to stay at the end of the day? Yes. Once again, there's a family connection here. Whatever you want to call him, whatever you want to think about him for, he dropped them. He dropped the balls. He dropped them in crucial moments. He did that. There were times where, yes, it seemed like there was a lack of effort from 11, but at the end of the day, I'm always in his Philly talk is always going to stand with AJ Brown at the end of the day, because what he probably represents off the field, but we know we've seen it before that in moments he does show up, and we're gonna hope that he can continue get back to his normal self after it's a rough all around season for the offense in general. Yeah, people got stats and numbers in certain games, but we all know there's a terrorist holding them back. But AJ Brown, Devontae, Goddard leaves. You got Oscar Delp. Corner help should be on the way. O line, if Caden Proctor is there, please take him. He's projected late first round, so that might be like an overreach. But at the same time, sometimes you got to take a gamble. You've seen Howie Roseman take gambles. You've seen Howie Roseman come out on top more times than not. But hey, man, it's your boy. For the type of PA, we always know we keep it a stack. Always keep it a buck. I'm out, y'all.